Hey, this is book two. I did book one earlier. For those who haven't seen book one, I am Tan Shay. Most people call me Shay. And I did a book one video. It's like a two-part video that pretty much giving you some little basic information of terminology that I use or will be using throughout my videos. So that way, whenever I say one of the terms, we all would know exactly what I'm referring to. For those who haven't watched it, I am what I classify as a teacher, root worker, and a messenger. So, all three. So I broke down the definitions of it in my first, in book one video. And it's a two-part. So the first part, in the beginning, I went over the terms. The second part is the introduction, but also like my disclaimers and my disclaimers to family. Well, in that video, I also, in the end of the second part, I pretty much was talking about my situation, because I posted a couple other videos of me briefly going over me just dealing with mental health. And through my experience and what I went through, I'm hoping that me exposing and discussing, which is a better word for me, is discussing my experience with mental health and things that helped me overcome the challenges that I had dealing with mental health. Also, what I have done to reverse a lot of mental health issues. And throughout this journey of my videos, hopefully, if anyone's going through mental health or anything of that nature, please seek help for it. It is very important to seek help. I cannot say I didn't start this journey on my own. I did seek out to see a psychiatrist once I recognized that I could not fix it alone. I tried for years. I've been battling it, like I said, since I was 5 years old. But I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know it was mental health until I was an adult. So let me put this disclaimer out here. My channel is an 18 plus channel. So if you're under the age of 18, please exit the video. Some things I may talk about may be triggers for some people, and I do apologize. If it is, please feel free to turn it off. Because if something triggered me, I definitely, I have to walk away sometimes. Also, this is a healing channel, so I hope that someone can get anything or something from what I say that they can use or apply it to an area in their life, and maybe, help them to overcome some of the things that I might went through or that might be similar to your situation. I am not a doctor. I am not claiming to be a doctor. I am a healer of the mind, body, and soul. I am not a medical doctor. I do not have a medical degree. I have a psychology degree for counseling, but not the medical part of it. So throughout my videos, I might be giving out some information about different things that I've used to help me overcome and reverse some of the things that I was diagnosed with, through mental health, through physical health, overall. So any information that I give of that nature is not to replace any medication or any instructions from your doctor. Any information that I give is for informational purposes, educational purposes. Please consult with your doctor. Like I said, I like to put the disclaimer out there. I am not a doctor, but I am a healer. And there is a difference. So I want to go ahead and just let it flow the way it goes, because I'm new to this, so you guys, I hope you bear with me. But in the last video, I had brought up about my very first traumatic incident that I can remember from as a child, because I was seeing a counselor, and they teach you coping mechanisms. It's not just medicine alone. It's also other coping things to be able to, work together. So one of the exercises she had me to do, we always hear that you have to heal childhood wounds or childhood traumas. But yeah, we know that. That's the way I was. I've been trying to figure out how to do it for decades. And people tell you that's what you need in order to get healed, but nobody tells you really what that looks like. How the healing of that it begins to look. Well, maybe some people were lucky enough to be able to get that information, but on my end, no. So people told me to, but didn't tell me how. So she had me to do an exercise, and then she asked me to write a letter to my younger self. Think about as far back as I can remember, the very first time something traumatic or bad happened to me. And the memory I come back, I was like 4 or 5. So I just rounded to 5. Was the age, the very first time. Like, I'm about to talk about something that might trigger some people, so please be advised. I was molested by a female at the age of 5. And that was the very first major traumatic thing that happened to me. So, and it wasn't the last. So, she had me to, told me to write a letter to my younger self. If I could talk to my younger self, what she said, what would I tell my younger self? Knowing what I know now, after experience that, and knowing that 5-year-old girl is still going through it, what would you say to her if she was standing in front of you? And so, and she's like, don't tell her, got off the phone. So that was like my homework that I had to do on my own. And so I sat down and I thought about it, and I really wanted to get better, and I wanted to be healed. Like, I didn't want post-traumatic stress anymore. I didn't want to have to constantly relive the visions of it. Not even the visions, the feelings that comes with the visions of things that happened that was traumatic. So, again, to make a long story short, I actually put some thought into it, and in my mind, which I call my mind Shay's World, that's what I call my mind, my mental is Shay's World. Yeah, it's like a theme park in there. Well, in my mind, I actually visualize as if that 5-year-old girl was here with me. And she was telling me, the adult me, what she just experienced. And I envision this 5-year-old me, my younger self, telling my adult self that I tried to tell several people, and nobody would listen to me. Um, no one, no one cared, and it was kind of strange to me because as I was, because prior to I was already working on myself on other areas, but this arose, within me, so I had to go ahead and put my mental ahead of everything else. So I was amazed at as I'm remembering it and speaking. I was speaking it out loud as if I was talking to someone, even though no one here but my dogs. But they played character. They were the 5-year-old, so they always around me. Like right now, I'm sitting down, so he's on the bed, so he might pop up. So if you see him, just yeah, he do his thing. Um, so I was speaking it out loud. What happened to me? And as I was talking, their tears was coming down my face. And I was shocked at how vivid my memory was, down to colors, details, like as if I was watching a movie right in front of me, like things that I thought I didn't even know I still remembered was popping up, and it was like, whoa. And I had to stop a couple of times and regain myself. But at the end of that, that was the 5-year-old had to talk. So at that point, instead of just going right into my role as the now me, the current me, the adult me, and giving this child some advice about all of the things she just told me, I actually acted like, shoot, I acted the whole scene out. And I actually took time and really did this because, wasn't nobody here but me and my animals. So who's going to judge me for actually doing what I want to do and heal myself? So I acted it all out, and I actually took the time out and felt the exact same feeling I felt as a 5-year-old child inside of me, the adult me. And I was paying attention to what I was feeling. And that's when ding, the light popped on. Once I start noticing, this is the exact same feeling I had when I was 5. And I still feel that same feeling today. So, and it feel like it is happening today to me. That's how it felt. Like my emotions was like it was being like it was being done now. And I been practicing breathing techniques because of my anxiety. You know, I took some breaths, and I started paying attention, okay, to identify what feelings am I feeling. I feel it, but what is this feeling? Is it what? So I start paying attention now since I felt it and got regained my composure. I was able to turn around. Now, let me identify what I'm feeling. And I realized that I was feeling hurt, pain, frustration, helpless, ignored, and abandoned. These were all the emotions and the feelings that was rushing through my entire body. Now, everything I just named, none of them was positive. These are emotions that I put in a toxic or negative, in the negative bucket. So that's the poison bucket. So the feeling I'm feeling inside is nothing, it's poison in my body. But this is the feeling I had when I was 5, and now I was having that same feeling now. So now that I identified what the emotions I was feeling and identify what each one was, I wrote them down on a piece of paper because I'm in the 80s, baby. So, we used to have to write letters, wait 3 or 5 days to get a response back before, I ain't going to tell my age like that. I'm in my late 30s, but, anyways. So, and then I pushed that to the side. Now that I identified the feelings, I pushed it aside and I went back into my role. And now it was time for me to have a conversation with the 5-year-old child, which at the time was my dog Bella. And so what I did was I asked the 5-year-old me, my dog playing the 5-year-old me actor, and I'm doing all the voices. I'm doing a voiceover. So I asked the 5-year-old me, what do you like to do? Start asking questions like positive questions. What do you like to do? Like to sing. I like to write music. Like to write poetry, which I call my poetry spoken word. I like to dance. Love math. And I want to be a teacher. That was the 5-year-old me. That was the positive. So I wrote those things down. And now the adult me have to give the 5-year-old me, who just told me all of that she just went through, the negative. And then I flipped it by asking for positive feedback questions of like, what do you like to do? What's your favorite subject? Things of that nature. And wrote down the response. And my mindset went back to my memories of a 5-year-old child, which was, to me, I'm not going to even lie, it was like, whoa. Did I just go back in time? Technically, consciously, I did. And I was shocked that I actually was able to go back to my 5-year-old self with my 5-year-old mindset and still remember the memories I had and my feelings and thoughts of a 5-year-old. So, to make a long story short, I decided to, my best advice, or the way that I felt that I can heal the younger version of me, was by doing something that the 5-year-old me loved to do. So I decided to say, well, let's, I apologize. I went over the whole thing of empathizing and sympathizing, I guess is a better way of saying it. And let her know that I'm here, that it's going to be okay. I know it's hard and it's difficult that you had to experience that and had to deal with it by yourself. I acknowledged that you had to deal with it by yourself, that I had to deal with it by. I had to acknowledge that it was a horrible thing that happened to me at 5. I had to acknowledge it in order to accept it, in order to release it, so that I can then heal. And so I decided to say, okay, well, you like writing poetry, or, you said spoken words. So let's write a poem or some spoken words or some lyrics or some music about what happened to you. And that way you can get it out and doing something you love. So by me doing that, my thinking was, I have something negative that happened. And through my studies, and it's kind of like I had to start taking my own advice that I give people. They say the best psychiatrists normally have the worst problems. So something negative, and now I'm gonna take this negative act and turn it into something positive, some positive art. So that's what I did. So me, my adult self, and my child 5-year-old self, in my mind, So this is what it is. So I'm going to share what I came up. And this is what I did. And in order to heal that memory, to detach those negative emotions that I had attached to that memory, I replaced them with something positive. And now when I think about it, I don't feel the negative effect of it. Every time I think about that time, sadly, gladly, gladly, instead of thinking about or feeling that, I end up feeling joy and accomplished because of this point. So bear with me as I read it, because this is literally, once I completed the end of this poem, and I was in the mindset as if I was the 5-year-old at the time I did it. When I finished writing this, my tears were done, and I was laughing, and I was actually like, this is freaking good. Like, oh my God, I wrote this. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, I was like a 5-year-old kid. Like, oh, this is it. I was all like that. So I'm going to share it with you so you guys can kind of see how I converted a coping mechanism or a task that my counselor suggested, and took it and actually made it my own, so I can break it down to my understanding so that I can get the most healing out of it. And the end result is that I'm really healed from that, and I don't feel that. And even if I talk about it like I talk about it, I don't feel, I remember words in this here. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get to it so that this one won't be too long. So the name of it is okay. I normally don't share my writings, like, I've never, so this is new. This will be my first time sharing some of my writings. So I hope and pray you guys bear with me. Okay. The title of this is A Ghetto's Girl Lullaby. The child deep inside, what a great design. A blessing from the great divine. placed in a pit full of snakes and vines. With each strike, she stands firm. Bite after bite, the venom burns. House full of lies, where's the spies? This is a ghetto's girl lullaby. Did you check their alibi before you called her a lie? Telling a 5-year-old to process the pain of a world that can't be explained. Did you expect her to come out unchanged? Now she living in a world bound and chained to pain that no one can explain. Sold to the highest bidder. It's lust shame. She's not bitter. Praying every night for change to come. Wondering why her wings can't fly. Life full of goodbyes and fake cries. Can't look me in my eyes, 'cause you know I can reveal your lies. How many times she tried until she lost her way, ran out of things to say. Raised in pain, hurt and ashamed. No one knows how deep it flows. Nothing she tried ever grew. It's just a ghetto girl's lullaby. Not trying to testify, just hoping someone can teach her how to fly. 'Cause I'm just a ghetto girl, and this is my lullaby. I guess it's supposed to be like that. Yes. This is what I came up with, and the end result was, for me, it was breakthrough. It was breakthrough because when I was younger, at that age, I was telling people, but no one listened. Some didn't even believe me. To the point I stopped telling. And when I stopped telling, what it did was open up a door for 3 more rapes. And those next 3 were men. So, after writing this, I was finally able to get it out, but now in a positive art format, something I can be proud of versus ashamed of. I took my writing as a badge of honor and not a scar of shame. I took something that broke me down for years, had me not standing up for myself or not speaking up for myself for years, because I was 5. With no one telling me how. What do I do next? Like, how do I make the vision stop? How do I no longer be scared? What do I need to do so that I'm no longer scared? I'm no longer hurt. I'm safe. There was no one there. God was there. I was 5. So now I was able to turn that situation into a work of art, something that I'm proud of. to the point for this to be the very first time I share some of my writings. And this is the first one I've done. I'm there, I guess. You know, I'm proud of myself for that. And most people might think it's just BS. It isn't. No lie. No lie. I have a lot. I do a lot of writing. A lot of writing. A lot of writing. And that's not even half of it. I write music, I write poetry, spoken words, word, understanding, quotes. I do a lot of writing. My foster mom always told me since I was in my teens, Shay, you should write a book. Well, Mom, I'm writing it. I've started. I finally started that book. Everything I do from now forward is new to me. Everything is brand new. There's new everything. I'm doing everything new. And it started with this. Like, I've been working on other areas. Like, I've been stopped dating. Like, I freaking spray cologne, like literally my son's cologne around the house just so I can remember what a man smells like sometimes. And now that's weird. But that's true. Every time one of my kids moved out, I increased pets in the house. Which, that's, I learned that I had abandonment issues, and that's why I was doing that. I had abandonment issues. Didn't want to be alone. So I was actually forced to be alone. With just my animals, of course, which my animals was a tremendous part of my healing. But most of all, God was the master and control of it all.